What's going on? Y'all come on in the room. Let's have a chit chat. Come on in the room. Let's have a chit chat before I go to the work job. I don't know why this. Okay. All right. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. All right. Hey y'all, I'm waiting on y'all. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. We talking about gaslighting today. We're talking about gaslighting today. And gaslighting is part of the narcissist tools. That is a narcissist tool to gaslight. That is a tool that will absolutely drive you bananas. So come on up here. Who in here? One person say, hey. Who in here? One person? Where's the squad at? Where's the rest of my squad? Y'all come on up in here. Yeah, let me make sure I'm looking funny. Got my work attire on. Come on up in here, y'all, so we can talk about gaslighting today. We can learn some things. We can learn some things. One person said, hey, do you have your t-shirt, one person? Your Make It Happen For Yourself t-shirt? If you don't, email me. My email is down in the description of all of my lives and videos. Oh no, do I put it in the live? All of my lives and videos. And, give me your name and address and size and color. I have them in red, black, white. The red has black lettering as well as white lettering. Uh, and I have them in small, medium, large, and extra large. I have a few extra larges left. No more 2Xs. Those are gone. So get with me. And then once you tell me what you want, I'll tell you what the shipping and handling is, and you can cash at me. That's what you do to get a Make It Happen For Yourself t-shirt. Hope you can see that. I don't know. Yeah, Make It Happen For Yourself t-shirt. Anyway, we're talking about gaslighting today, and I'm going to give you the definition. Hey, two people. I'm going to give you the definition of gaslighting, right? And this is a narcissist tool. This is their number one tool. This is what makes you and keeps you, and it can keep you insane until you shake up out of it, right? So gaslighting is manipulating someone into questioning their own perception of reality. And what they do is they'll tell you one thing, and you cool with that, right? And then they'll tell you something else like they didn't tell you the one thing, right? This expression derives from the title of the 1944 film Gaslight. Became popular in the mid-2010s. I have to see that. Merriam-Webster cites deception of one's memory. That's what it is. Deception of one's memory, perception of reality, or mental stability. And that's what they do. I'm going to find some examples of gaslighting because that's their number one tool. That's what makes them crazy to me. That gives them that, hey, nephew, gives them the mental health. That's the mental health portion of it for me. Hey, Nick. That's the mental health portion of it for me because they will absolutely make you crazy. Like, for instance, I'm going to read what they say, but I'm going to tell you an example of mine. When at the beginning of my friendship/relationship with my ex, he would always say, call me. I want to know where you at. Call me. Because I was, like I said before, I was not going to be a bugaboo, clingy type woman. I'm not that person, right? So I was not going to be. And so I made a conscious effort to not be that person. But he would always say, call me. I got to know where you at, what you doing, see how my baby, all that stuff, right? Well, shortly after that, I don't know when, but sometime during the relationship, it was too much. It was too much to have a conversation, right? Or I'll tell you something else. He told me to quit my job. He might have told me that for a year. And then when I finally quit it, he was like, you need to go back to work. Stuff like that. What you tell me, right? So it was always something weird like that. Okay, they say, what is an example of gaslighting? Denying that an event took place. They're good at that. They're good at that. They don't know what you're talking about, right? Even if there's evidence to prove it, they will lie. My ex would lie. He would die with the lie. He would die with the lie. Die with the lie. Um, Lying and contradicting what the victim knows to be true. So they keep your head in a spin, right? Because you told me this, but then you replay it back to them, and it's, I ain't say that. We ain't do that. What you talking about? They keep you in a spin, right? Making a victim feel like they are crazy or overreacting, for sure, for sure. And in turn, if you don't have your wits about yourself, it can make you crazy. It really can make you crazy. I know someone like that. I swear it makes you. It does. It makes you feel like you're crazy, Nick. It does. And I didn't listen. I didn't know nothing about narcissism. I didn't know nothing about gaslighting. I could not figure bruh out. I could not figure him out. Like, what is wrong with him? You did tell me that, right? You did do this. This did happen. Uh, Now they say there are four types of gaslighting. I didn't know this part. Gaslighting is the action of repetitively and often brazenly. They're aggressive with the lie. They're aggressive with what they're telling you, right? Lying to someone to manipulate and ultimately control them in a relationship. It could be divided into four different types: outright lying, manipulation of reality, scapegoating, and coercion. With the scapegoating, if I would ever catch my ex in a lie and try to let's get some explanation of that or some clarity, but oh, don't worry about that. That's the scapegoating part. We ain't gonna worry about that. You don't want to talk about that, right? Um, Hold on. So the gaslighting part, if you are not, what's the word I want to use? If you're not quick witted, if you're not a thinker, this could really have you in a turmoil. This could have you in a tizzy. Gaslight could have you in a tizzy, right? And because even with proof, like I've had proof of some things, mm-mm. He minds would actually go down with the lie. Never, never, I don't believe, has he ever acknowledged any wrongdoing. Never. Never. And if it was, okay, it's blatant wrongdoing, he would say, well, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's all right. Try to smooth it over. No, nigga, you just lied and hurt me. What do you mean? So it's hold on. Hold on. Now they say gaslighting, which I believe it, is they say it's emotional abuse based on destabilizing the victim's belief in themselves. I say it's emotional, mental, it's both, right? It's both. Um, so it says gaslighting is so commonly discussed that Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, folks, it is deemed it was the expression of the year 2022. Like I said, gaslighting was relatively new to me. When did I become aware of it? So this is 24. I became aware of it around 2021. I had heard a few of my girlfriends saying their boyfriends were narcissists, didn't pay that no attention. But once I moved to Charlotte in 2020. Somewhere shortly after that, during the pandemic, is when I really learned of narcissism, heard the term gaslighting, and love. I didn't even hear about love bombing until maybe 2022. But the gaslighting was the first thing that I heard of. I didn't quite know what it was. Yeah, I didn't quite know what it was. Yeah. It's a highly calculated, now that the experts say, gaslighting is a highly calculated form of manipulation, which involves a destabilization. I don't quite know what they mean, the destabilization. I'm going to have to Google that. Of one individual by another. Destabilization. Let me look up because I got to get a full understanding of what they're saying. So I haven't seen this in my readings before. Destabilization. Destabilize meaning. Oh, okay. Simple. Upset the stability of, cause unrest in. And this is part of the definition. The discovery of an affair can destabilize a relationship. Wow. So the definition pertains to a relationship. So destabilize. Okay. Okay. So it throws everything off kilter, destabilized to make it unstable. Okay, I got it. I got it. I need full understanding, y'all. I can't. I'm just built like that. I need full understanding of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I need full understanding. So I can get it right. Because as it pertains to me, this was the worst, and I endured this for 10 years. And it may have been a couple of years in before I realized that that's what was happening. Uh, I like things to be, yeah, broke down. Yeah, me too. It might have been a while before I realized. Now you did tell me that. You know what I'm saying? Well, you did say that. You did do this. Uh, that's what it would be. 10 years of that, y'all. 10 years of that until I got to the point of I don't care. I'm not having a conversation. Do what you will, right? And that's not no way to live. Now let's see. 7 signs of gaslighting. Let's see what they say. The 7 signs that you should not ignore. Okay? 7 signs that you should not ignore. Right? And a lot of times they like to act like you're overreacting. So you could be sitting there in a tizzy. You all upset and all that. And they just sitting there like this, looking at you. Right? That's another thing that they do. You upset. You cussing. You ready to fight. And they just sitting there looking at you. Because they have no empathy, so they don't even understand your feelings. They don't even understand them feelings that you showing right now. They care less about them, matter of fact. They care less about them. Now it says recognizing gaslighting is difficult, because you think it's just somebody just a liar or they just forgot. Initially you don't think of it as something evil. You think they just forgot or they lying. You don't think of it of what it really is, right? Because it's typically done by someone you trust, like your partner. So you want to believe in these folks, right? That's what makes it so difficult. Like, huh? Hey, Queen Supreme. It is going well. I've had a very productive day. I got up. I did a portion of editing that I have been not doing for a couple of days because I was too busy looking at TV. I did that portion. I got about 20 more pages to go. I'm happy to say. And I'll probably get that done. What's tomorrow? Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. Maybe one day next week. Or Saturday, Sundays, I'd be work all day. I'd be tired. But I did get some things accomplished to this morning. And I'm proud of myself, y'all. Because, when you're, you can have all the motivation in the world. Like, I like to think I'm a motivated individual, right? But I'm also a procrastinator. I am a procrastinator, right? So what I have to incorporate in my life, which I have been doing for years, right, is it 7.5? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I have incorporated, what I've always been, but I'm even more so now, is discipline. You can have all the motivation in the world, but if you don't have any discipline and any plans and how you gonna do what you're gonna do, because I can't function without a plan. I mean an hourly plan. I have an hourly plan, right? And once I go too far, let's say I plan to get up at 8 and do some editing, but then I start watching TV. So now it's 10. It's time for me to get ready to go live. So let them blew that out, right? So I have to, I plan my day by the hour. And I've been like that for a long, long time, right? Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. But you have to have discipline, right? That's what's needed is discipline. Yeah, you definitely have to be self-motivated. You know what I'm saying? You're growing expeditiously, Queen. I know, I'm so, and let me tell y'all something. Let me just give y'all a little piece of me, right? Because somebody said something to me the other day about self-discovery or something, right? So I can go, and I'm glad I'm not a jealous-hearted person. I'm glad I don't have that spirit. I can go on another YouTuber's page, and their videos will have thousands of views, and they're not that big, right? And I see it a lot, and I'm like, well, why am I not, my videos not, and my lives not doing like my shorts, right? Why is that? So what I told myself today, just a few minutes ago, was don't worry about who come into the live. Worry about Don't worry about who's not coming into the live. Concentrate on the people that are in the live. I had to tell myself that just a few minutes ago. Like, don't worry about who ain't there. Worry about who's there. So that's where I'm at, right? So it takes a lot of discipline, talking to myself, staying focused, right? It takes a lot of that to do what I'm doing, y'all. Yep, this is the first day of my birthday month. Birthday month. Taking all cash apps. Y'all can send me $1 a day, $2 a day. It'll all be appreciated. So anyway, so it's the sign that somebody's gaslighting you. Constantly minimizing or invalidating your feelings. My ex was good at that, right? He didn't acknowledge nothing that I did. Initially, he did during the love bombing phase. But after that, anything I did great or good, did not acknowledge it. If I was a weaker woman, he would have made me feel worthless when I knew better. I know my strength. I know who I am, right? But I can see how he was able to manipulate every woman in his life up until me with this type of behavior, right? They avoid taking responsibility for their actions. Lying. Lying is the number one thing. My ex lied for no reason. He could go outside and say, well, I see that dog go across the street and he's sitting on the porch right now. And you go look out across the street, ain't no dog. He just would lie about something that you don't even need that I didn't even ask for. Now why'd you tell that lie? And sometimes I would ask him, now why would you tell that lie? And he just laughed like, I don't know. Just laugh for no reason. Facts, because people can watch your playbacks and that will draw them also. It's all about being consistent and authentically you. If those you are meant to be will come. That's right. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Neat. Hey, Mariah Minutes. Hey, how are you? So this is the YouTuber, the content creator, y'all. I told y'all to go subscribe to. How are you? How are you, Mariah? So at noon, I talk about narcissism because I was with one for over 10 years, as well as dating and stuff. So if you got any topics, email me and we'll discuss it at noon. At 8 o'clock is when we get a little messy and gossipy. Okay. Did you create? No, I'm going to do it today. I've been busy. I've been actually very, very busy. As soon as I finish it, I'm going to do that before I go to work. I got about an hour before I go to work, and I'm going to do that then. Amazon wish list. Put you a vehicle on you. I know that's right. So do you do it in that? Because I got the Amazon app. You do it in the Amazon app? Okay, good, Marita. That's right, Nick. We welcome you. We welcome you. Jack Squad, we friendly over here. We friendly over here, right? We friendly over here. We welcome everyone and we try to support everyone, right? Okay, I'm going to figure it out, Queen. I'll check it out. As I literally be busy from the time I wake up until y'all see me, and then I got about an hour before I go to work. So I will check it out. I'll check it out. Yeah. So another thing they do, another sign is regularly recalling events different than you. They think of stuff differently. You know exactly what happened. You got it in your memory bank. They don't see it that way. They never see it that way. Never. That's another frustrating thing. They never see things the way that it really was, right? Do it through your app? Okay. Using words like paranoid, overactive, dramatic, overly sensitive, or crazy. Now, he would always say that I was crazy or something, right? He would always say that. He would always say that I was crazy or overreacting, overacting about something, right? And experiencing self-doubt. When I tell y'all I experienced that as strong as I am, I experienced that. When it pertained to him, I was like, okay, I'm a good woman. I'm doing this, and that. I'm doing A, B, C, D, and E. What else should I do? When he was being wrong and doing wrong and all that, I put it on me. Like, what can I do? What can I do? Right? What can I do? It's me. I'm the reason why this. I'm the reason why that. I did that for years until I realized and said, fuck him, it's him. I literally woke up one day and said, shit, it ain't me, it's him. Right? Because I know I'm going down the checklist, which I shouldn't have had to do. And I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a partner, as a woman, as a friend. And that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough for him. And you don't feel seen or heard. That's another sign of gaslighting. Don't feel seen or heard. I experienced all of that. I experienced all of that. Don't feel seen or heard. Not by him. And that's who you want the attention from. That's who you want to be seen by. You want to be seen by your partner, right? And he would make you feel invisible, literally, right? Uh, Now, this is the examples of it, right? Alienating you from supportive friends and family. He tried to do that, but that didn't really work with me. That didn't really work with me. Alienate me from my friends and family because I'm a sociable person. But I could see that if I had been a younger woman, I could see how that could happen. But I was a little too strong. That's why we always butted heads, because I just was a little too strong for what he was doing, and I didn't realize that he was. I didn't know nothing about narcissism, right? But you wasn't gonna alienate me from my friends or my family, because that's who they was here for. You was right. Uh, they invalidate your feelings, right? That's another one that'll have your head spinning, because, like I said, you could be in turmoil, you could be crying, you could be angry, any emotion. They don't validate that. They don't even see that. They just look at you like you crazy. Or depending on what the emotion was, it seems like the more upset. This is what I noticed. The more upset that I was, the happier it made him. He was getting a kick out of that. I realized that. He was getting a kick out of making me an emotional wreck. He liked that. And the moment that I stopped being emotional and I stopped caring about what he was saying or doing, it drove him crazy. When I would totally ignore him. I'm telling y'all, the house became a battle of the wheels, of wits, right? I would just ignore him. Period. You're invisible. You're straight invisible, nigga. I do not see you. Don't want to smell you. I don't want you nowhere around me. And that would drive him crazy. That drew him to me. When I was a nice, good, loving housewife, he didn't want no parts of that. You wanted to mess her up. But with the moment I start ignoring him and not paying him any attention, it would drive him crazy. He would always be in my face and always in the house and always around me. How they just gloss over it, yeah. It's like they feed off they do. They're like vampires or vultures or something, right? Really, they can be, it's a really dark individual. Narcissists are really dark individuals. And if my spirituality, my relationship with God is what helped me through when I didn't even know I was in something. I didn't even know I was in something. I just knew this is what the techniques and the tactics that I got to use to not let this nigga get on my nerves, right? But if you don't have friends and family or a strong support system, right? Now my friends and family supported me, didn't even know I was going through nothing. But if you don't have that strong spirituality, because you're fighting a demon, right? You need something to fight the demon with. You need your tools to fight the demon. If you don't have that, you doomed, right? You're doomed. It's really a mind fuck. Like I told you, that's what it really is. That's really what it is. Um, because you're always in a state of confusion. Somebody tell you this and then they do the opposite. You tell somebody this is what happened and they don't see it that way. Y'all are never on the same accord. You're never on the same accord, hardly ever, right? And I remember I was sitting in church and my pastor said something about equally yoked, right? Equally yoked. And that's when it hit me. Boom, right? That's when it hit me. Man, this nigga ain't the same. We are not the same. We're on two different paths, right? I had a narcissist old man. He seemed like he had good intentions and love for me, but I just couldn't go with it. My spirit kept telling me no. He had a dark spirit. You got to stay away from them dark spirit people. Got to stay away from them dark spirit people. It's not pleasing them. Right. You are so right. You got to be armed with the word and be able to pray protection over you. You do. I'm telling you, it got to a point where, it got to a point where we slept separately, separate rooms, right? Why I didn't just let the nigga go? Again, it was the finances. That's all I can say, because it wasn't even about love at that point. But he slept in the attic. I put him in the attic, and I'm in my room, right? But I think either prior to that, or because he would sometimes try to come in my room when I come home, he'd be sitting on my bed. I hated that. Oh, I hated it, right? So I started sleeping with my Bible open in my bed. What you're saying now is hitting me deep. I know that he was a narc. Yeah, they're very dark people. The one thing that got me was the no empathy. No empathy at all. They care nothing about your feelings. Nothing. So you go from this person that's love bombing you, they treating you well. You think they enjoying you and having fun with you. That's what you're thinking, right? Yeah, he slept in the attic. And I had told him one more step out, nigga, you be in the garage. Yeah, he slept in the attic. He's for a minute. And then where did he sleep after that? Because my son moved in the attic. Where did he sleep after that? Shit, I don't even know. Self-centered, selfish, and they wanted to be all about them. It's got to be all about them all the time, right? And I found myself consumed with his day, consumed with what he had going on. Now, mind you, I had never been in a long-term relationship, so I thought this is what you're supposed to do. That's what I thought, right? This is what you're supposed to do. You know, so I was very accommodating, and I was very accommodating and very, especially once I quit my job after he told me to. I was very accommodating and very uh, accessible to him. I was accessible to him. He was not accessible to me, but I was accessible to him, right? He could pick up the phone at any time and say whatever, and it's okay, cool, right? I'm there. Here I come. What you want? What you need? Uh, I had now check this out, y'all. Because again, this is my first long term relationship, and I thought this was gonna work, right? I was the housewife without the husband. He had his own place, but he never, hardly ever, once we got going, stayed there. He never stayed there. He would spend the night at my house, right? Yeah, maybe that's where he was when I put it after my son moved in. He was spending the night at his own house, but he had a key to my house, right? Was the one that brought it to my attention that it was a hole if we lived with him. Oh wow, my son's words made me ponder on it. Oh wow, your son saw it. Um, he had his place and I had mine, but he was always at my house, right? And you know, he had business at my house, and he had a key to my house. I never ever got a key to his house. Never ever. Why did I let that go on? Why did I let that go on? Right? So he was able to do whatever he wanted to do at his house. He could entertain a woman. He could do whatever he wanted to do. After the first year or two, I didn't really go over there that much because he was always at my house, right? But when he wanted to venture off and do some shit, he would go to his house, right? Um, it was always it was always about him. It was always about him. And again, I thought this is what you're supposed to do. You cater to your man because I'm submissive, right? Believe it or not. So you cater to your man. You know, he was good financially. Okay, I ain't got no problems with that, right? And so I was doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing, not knowing that I was being manipulated. Shit, who gonna manipulate Jackie? Shit, what? But I was being manipulated, right? Not knowing that, and because it was not, it never felt like pressure until it did feel like pressure. It never felt like you better do this, you got it. It didn't never feel like that. Then it got to when I would buck it, then it would get like that. That was later on, years down the line, and I'd be like, shit, I don't feel like that shit. I don't want to do it. Then it became a problem, and he would go on and on and on, and make me out the bad guy. He would make me to be the bad guy, right? Um, with his words. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and he was never ever satisfied or pleased with me. Never satisfied or pleased. Never. Never satisfied or pleased. I remember he would say things like, I didn't ever do nothing for him. But the moment that we separated for real, when I was like, okay, I've had enough and all your stuff is gone, because I put all this stuff in the garage. And I said, when you get ready to, get it, that's where to be, right? You out of this house. The moment that I said that, he went downhill. I'm talking about down, he went from sugar to shit. Sugar to shit. Really. It got so bad that his family was calling me, asking me, was he homeless? Was he on drugs? What was happening with him, right? But he had always kept saying I did nothing for him. A woman is your helpmate, and I definitely was the helpmate, right? But he didn't appreciate it. He didn't appreciate it. Even though money was not a problem, he was going to pay bills and do niceties, but the emotional part was not there. Sugar to shit. That's what happened. He went to sugar to shit. I ain't gonna even tell y'all the hot shitty. until I'm gonna put that in my book. Like I said, the third book will be all about him. So it's gonna be a lot. The whole third book is dedicated to my relationship with him. My old man became furious with me, so I think because he felt like my son was holding me back, my son was like 11 or 12. I was going to make sure my children, absolutely, 11 or 12, they need you. That's when they need you the most, right? Now, my son, when I got with him, my youngest was about mm, 12. He was about that age too, 13. He was about that because he was in junior high. He was in junior high school. He was in high school. So he's about 14. About 14, 15. He was old enough that when I spent the night at his house, he was cool. He was about 4 because he probably already having sex. But that's why I think a lot of things didn't go so bad inside the home. He could mind fuck me, but he couldn't. The stuff he probably used to doing, he couldn't do because my youngest son was there. He was looking like a grown man. And then my oldest son came to live a few years later. And he was sleeping in the attic. I don't know where my ex was sleeping at. But so I had men in the house, my men, right? So, he wasn't gonna go over so far with them. And they were gorillas for real, right? So he wasn't gonna go. I believe the things that he would have done, he did not do. That's what I believe. Um, that's what I believe happened. Because it could have been much worse. And then, like I said, I did not, I didn't know what I was in. I didn't know what I was in. I didn't know what I was in. And I just knew I was frustrated with the lies because he lied so much. He lied so much, y'all. Oh, it was ridiculous, the lies, right? He lied so much. And then I got to thinking, I said, well, maybe he just believed this stuff that he's saying, you know. But sometimes people say stuff like, I know one of my sons have a way, both of my sons really can exaggerate time. Like, it could really have only been an hour. They might say it was 3 hours. So I was like, well, maybe, he's one of them. You know what I'm saying? Um, it was always confusion. And I found that he liked confusion. And when I read up on it, that's one of the traits. They like it. Chaos. He was a cool older dude, but he was deceptive. Ooh, that deception. Ooh, that's a nasty word. My spirit wouldn't let me live with him. Thank you, Lord, for me dodging him. Yeah, and see, I jumped right in. Because that's what I do with anything in life. I jump right in. Before I know it, I'm in some shit I don't even like, right? Again, that's the reason why I'm single, because I take my time and dating pool's just pissy, right? But I jumped right in. After about 90 days, even though he had his place and I had mine, he spent a lot of time at my house. A lot of time at my house, you know? And eventually he had a key. I'm never ever going to do that again. No man is ever going to get a key to my house. Now, I've had keys to men's house since then, but I'm never going to give a man a key to my house because that gives them too much power, in my opinion. It gives them too much power. I remember somebody I was dating that I really, really liked. He had the nerve to ask me for a key, and that turned me off from it. That turned me off. And I pulled back from him. It's like, why you want a key? I don't have a key to your house. Shit, I ain't never been to your house. Why you think you need a key to my house? I don't know what that's about with men, but no, I'm not. I'm never doing that. If you get a key, if you paying the mortgage, well, dude was paying the bills and shit. I ain't have a mortgage. House was paid for. He saw to that, and that's why. That's why he had the key. That is why he had the key. Yeah, because he'd helped me buy my house. My house was paid off. He had helped me do a whole bunch of shit, in the house, right? That's why he had the key. And I felt like, let me tell y'all what I felt. I felt obligated. If somebody pulled you up, not that I was in the gutter, but if somebody elevates you, I felt obligated to them. I felt like one good deed deserves another. That's how I felt. It should feel right. I don't give out keys. Yeah, I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that anymore. I knew better, but like I said, the man helped me buy the house. How could I not get this nigga the key? You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm not doing that anymore. No matter what. I heard a girl say the other day, and I'm kind of like that, to don't allow a man to know where you live. Don't allow a man to know where you live, right? When y'all just dating, don't allow him to know where you live. who walks in when they want to. Yeah. And that's exactly what he did, y'all. Because he could say, see, he played with me, right? So since he had his own place, he could be like, I'm thinking you coming home. He would be out in the streets, and then he can go to his house. He didn't. There was no boundaries. There was no lines drawn of what we doing and what we not doing. He did exactly what he wanted to do, and I allowed it. I allowed it. Right? Yeah, I allowed it, and he was helping, so that's why he had to keep it. I'm not ever doing it, even if you help. I'm not doing that because that's just like y'all married, but y'all ain't. Because he could do whatever he wanted to do, which he did. And towards the end or the middle, he did do exactly what he wanted to do. You know? The things don't go right, could get ugly when they know where you live. Yeah. I never was worried, like I said, I never worried about it getting ugly because I had sons, right? Grown ones. So I never worried about it getting ugly, but he would just mind fuck the shit out of me. The mind fucking was, the confusion, the chaos, the always an uproar, right? I remember when I was I bought my house and then I was putting it together and I had workers, right? And I was doing something else too. I wasn't working at that time. I was hustling, but I was be busy. I was always busy, and I always couldn't be at the house to let the guys in, right? Because we were still living over here, but they was working on this house. And they worked on our house for about 6 months, right? So I wasn't always able to be there to let them in. You could be there, right? That became a problem. It was like he was butting heads on me. If I said right, he said left. If I said up, he said down. If I said front, he said back. It was like that all the time. Like I didn't understand it, why we couldn't come on one accord. And the longer we was together, the more confusing it became. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, we trying to do something. And, we had a plan. I had a plan. A lot of times he would go along with shit knowing that he wasn't going to do it. And he was not going to do it, right? And we had a plan, a business plan, in order for us to get some money together and be partners, right? First project didn't do so well, so we couldn't do another project. Okay, see you, Marita. I'll be live tonight at 8 when we gossiping. It just could not. He just would not cooperate. Just would not cooperate. Like, why are you always going against the grain? And you know what was strange was I could tell him something, and he don't hear it or he don't agree to it or whatever. Then his friend could tell him something, and he with it, and it'd be the same thing I told him. I told you that. He wouldn't listen to me. It was like I didn't exist. I was only for his purposes of showing me off and when he needed me for whatever he needed me for. He didn't listen to me. He didn't listen to me. I was once married in a shelter. We separated. I took my children to the world. It was eye opening. People are weird, but he didn't listen to me. It's all about them. All narcissists is just some crazy people, y'all. Hey T, hey T. Narcissists are just. You just missed the new Jack Squad member Marita, the one I told you to sub to. She just left, but yeah, it's it's all about them, and you don't really realize that as a woman. You just thinking you being a woman, you being a partner. At least I did. I'm being a partner. I'm being supportive. I'm in this with you, and all the while they using you and putting their foot on your neck. And they're not appreciating you. You're not appreciated. That was the frustrating part. Like I could have flew a plane. He wouldn't have said, "Ooh, good job." When you learn how to do that, he wouldn't have said shit. Or she would have said something like, "You almost crashed it." It would be stuff like that. Instead of saying something good, it would be, "Shit, you almost hit that damn tree. You ain't see that tree." It would be like that, right? It was just opposite world. It was opposite world, right? And so I am a person that save and plan, right? He is willy-nilly and don't save, right? And I would have these conversations about saving. Again, this is that unequal yoke. And he would say, I can get up every day and go make some more money. I thought that was the stupidest shit in the world. So you just going to start over. I said, you like a hamster in a wheel. You're just going nowhere fast. You're just going and going and going, right? Oh, it was sickening. Um, you know, Queen says, I think narcissists are secret haters. They are. They are full of envy. That's what the experts say. They're jealous. They think people are jealous of them, when in turn they're jealous. And I really believe that my ex was jealous of me. I'm gonna give y'all a perfect example. I hope nephew in here. So I would go to New York all the time, and I used to go with a group of people on the bus, or me and some guys rent a van or a truck or something and go. Then I start going by myself on the Greyhound, right? Now I'm going on the Greyhound, and the bus left at 2 in the morning. This was the regular schedule. 2 in the morning, I would get to New York about 11, right? Handle my business and turn right back around and come back home, right? Uh, um, he would never, as my man, he would never say in the morning when he wake up, "You there? You all right? You cool?" Never. He would never say that, right? Never say that. And when I would call him, he wouldn't answer the phone. Okay, nephew. So if your girl going out of town, like I said I did, I always went out of town. He would never check on me. Never check on me, right? And he just wouldn't. And if I would call, and eventually got to, if I would call him, he wouldn't answer the phone. So you don't give a damn that I'm in a whole nother state. And that was because I was going to handle my business. You know, I was getting product over there, right? And so I'm getting my merchandise. And initially, he did not want me to do that. He said, that's going to be stupid, right? Don't do that. And I did it anyway, right? And he would never, ever call me. Never, ever call me, right? Never check on me. You don't do that to your girl, right? Now, immediately when we broke up, immediately, when I tell y'all immediately, he was out of the house. When we broke up, he went to New York with one of his friends and had the nerve to call me and say, where do I go? Now, this is the man, and he wouldn't even go with me. I would ask him, come go with me. Come go with me. He never, ever went to New York with me. The whole 10 years I was going back and forth while I was with him, he never went with me, right? As soon as we broke up, his friend went, and he caught the nerve to call me and say, where do I go? What? I said, go ask somebody, figure it out, and hung up the phone. He was cold-hearted, but he was also jealous of me, you know, because my business started booming, right? And I was doing it for myself, right? And he didn't like my strength. He did not like my strength, right? Because he wasn't used to being with nobody like that. Yeah, he wasn't used to being with nobody like that. So that narcissists are jealous. They do not want you to do, like I said, when I would be around his family, he didn't like me having too much fun with his family or his friends. But they love me and I love them. You know, it was super crazy. It was super, super crazy, right? And I could be with his people, and let's say we had an event and I had a good time, and then we replaying it or something happened, and he was like, that ain't happened. I ain't see that. You know, one time, y'all, and I'm ashamed to say this. I don't even know if I want to say this in public because I'm gonna put it in my book. I ain't gonna say it on him. Put that in my book. I can't tell y'all everything. But he would do shit to purposely hurt me, right? Not checking on you when you traveling. No, no excuse. That is no, it ain't, is it? It's not, is it? It's not. And I was traveling by myself, right? Not that I was fearful or anything, but that's just what you do, nigga. And I'm riding the Greyhound in the middle of the night. I got on at 2 in the morning. And let me tell y'all this. He would do as much as he could to hurt me and break me. He was trying to break me, right? He bit me a little, but I didn't break. So I had a car. And sometimes I would have two cars, and he wouldn't. I would say now I would be back every morning. I would get back at what time would I get back? It would be like 2 in the morning. I think I would get back at 2 in the morning too, because it would be a 24-hour turnaround. So I would get back at 2 in the morning too. So I'm coming back. The Greyhound don't have a parking lot. Pull in front and pick me up. Be there. He would not be there. He would not be there. I done been on this. First of all, I done rode 9 hours. I done walked. You have to walk in New York. I done walked, caught a train, handled my business. If I had to see a couple of vendors, I done caught the train. I done did all type of shit, right? Then I get back on the bus. Another 9 hours back home. I'm tired. I want to go home, right? I shouldn't have to wait for my ride. He would never be sitting there waiting for me. Never. Never. Right? One time he wouldn't answer the phone. Wouldn't even answer the phone. Now it's probably 3 o'clock, and then he gonna take his time coming to get me. That nigga really didn't like me, y'all. I'm telling you, he really didn't like me. So then I started. He had one of his friends pick me up. He would pay, or I would pay. One of his friends pick me up, and I just started catching the cab. I was like, I'm gonna just cut off ties with bruh, depending on him, something like that. But I'm a hustler. I'm going to do what I do, right? He wouldn't. You should have been waiting for me or had your friend or somebody. I should not have had to wait. I should have got off the bus and got right into a car. He wanted you to know that he was on your own. Yeah. Because he had told me not to do that. He said that ain't gonna be worth it. You ain't gonna make no money. And I did, right? And then I had a store in my basement. You know what I'm saying? People, I was getting money, right? That's how I was living, right? Besides him, and he didn't like that. He didn't like that. And as soon as we broke up, I'm talking about as soon as we broke up, he go to New York with his friend and said, "Where should I go?" And I said, "I don't know. Ask somebody." And hung up the damn phone. Right? How dare you? I've been with you 10 years, and I've been going to New York 8 of these years, and you ain't not one time ever went with, not on the protection side, or let me see what I can get, let me see who kind of connect, because I knew people, I could connect you up with some people, right? He never, ever, 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 that was the narcissist in him. He was envious of me. He was envious of me, right? That's what it was. So this is the effects of gaslighting, y'all. Yeah. Anxiety. They can give you. See, I'm so glad. I'm so thankful that I overcame this shit, not knowing I was in some shit to overcome. Right. So these are the effects. The most common effects of gaslighting include anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD). Now I have PTSD from a lot of things in my life. Pretty sure of that. Right. Insomnia, weight gain or loss, memory loss, social isolation, substance abuse, self-harm, and suicide. Suicide. You hear me? This how crazy they can make you. It's just that my strength, the strength that I have from within, would not allow that. My spirituality, I was so strong and deep with that, it just didn't affect me in that way. It did affect me, but not in that way. And when it got to be too much, I was like, okay, it's time to go. But before I said it's time to go, I ignored him. We probably was in that house a year where I wasn't saying shit to that nigga. Nothing. Put the money on the table. I'm cool. And then one day I said, Jackie, this ain't no way to live. This is not no way to live. You know what I'm saying? He was living his life. I was living my life. That last year. That last year was horrible. Because what happened was, see, let me tell you, I used to check his mail, do stuff like that for him, right? He wouldn't even check his mailbox and stuff like that. Anyway, he ended up losing his apartment. And so now, technically, legally, he had to move in with me. That means his stuff and all of that. Before he had his house, I had mine, right? It's Lucifer. And I'm telling you, it is. There were days in the middle of the thing, and I said, this nigga is the devil. I told you, when he sat in that hot car in the summertime, I knew it. But just his actions, and I would tell him that. He'd be like, I ain't no devil. You are the devil. You are the devil. Only the devil could act like that. This is a person that nothing can get through. Narcissists, nothing you do can get through to them. No amount of love, no amount of kindness, no amount of prayer, no amount of showing them the goodness. Because in my mind, I'm thinking my goodness is going to rub off on him. Never did. You can't penetrate. You cannot penetrate that wall of evil. You cannot. You cannot penetrate that wall of evil. And that's the part I was confused. Like, how does somebody be like this? You treat you so, and then it's a trick because they treat you so good, and then they flip. They treat you so good, then they tell the lie. They treat you so good, then they ignore you. Like, how does that happen? Can I ask a question? If you would have let things remain the same, do you think he'd still be in that relationship today as it was? Yes. 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 He was willing. He was going to stay like that forever. Yeah. He was going to stay. He was comfortable. He was cool with it. Who's going to, you got a clean house. You got a woman that's going to handle her business. She looked good, handle her business. Yeah, he was cool. He would have stayed like that forever. He didn't have a problem with it. That's the crazy shit. He didn't have a problem with it. He was sleeping in the attic. We wasn't having no sex. I wasn't even talking to him. He was cool with that. And needing them, yeah. He was cool with that. He was absolutely cool with that. That's when I got sat down and thought, I was like, this nigga would be like this forever. You know what I'm saying? This is cool for him. And that would only cheat me. He's getting what he wants because he had a girlfriend. He's getting what he want. I'm not getting what I want. You blocking me right now. I tell y'all something. I had a little guy friend that I met. Matter of fact, I knew him. I knew of him. And I knew of him because we grew up in the same neighborhood, but I didn't really know him, right? And he reached out to me on Facebook and said, "Can I take you out to dinner or something?" I was like, "Ooh, yeah." You know, write in the comments, everybody to see, "Oh, yeah, you can take me out." Now, I was with my ex. We lived in, matter of fact, I dated a couple dudes while he was still in the house and didn't give a damn what he thought because he had did me so wrong. And now I'm at war with him. So, I would go out and spend the night out. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I had my one friend pick me up. Shit, my one friend, the first guy I dated, he wouldn't pick me up. I didn't need him to pick me up. He lived nearby. I would go to his house, right? But I would stay out all night. And I remember I had never done that, but at this point I didn't care. And I remember calling one of my girlfriends and saying, I'm at my friend. She was like, "Girl, be careful when you go in the house." But at this point, I didn't care. You know, I didn't care. Plus, my grown son lived there, so we would kill you and put you in the basement or something, right? But I didn't care, because he had hurt me and disrespected me for so long. I didn't care. So if you want to live in this type of situation, cool. That's what it's gonna be. That's when he made me crazy. I was beginning to act like him, right? And then the second guy I dated, he would pick me up and drop me off, right? He would pick me up and drop me off. I just did not care. I did not care. It was total disrespect because he had been doing it to me for years. So I did not care what he thought. Didn't care at all. But that's when I said, okay, this is crazy because I was ready to start dating people and stuff. And that wasn't gonna go well like that. That wasn't gonna go, that wasn't gonna go well. Because let's say I like somebody and then we get close, he gonna want that man out the house. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't have nobody in the house. So it was like, okay, Jackie, you got to make a decision. That's when I decided to make a decision. You have to go. You really have to go. And let me tell y'all something. I would help him. I would find applications for apartments and stuff, right? Let me tell you what he did. So I had a couple, 2 or 3 applications sit on the table, and they sat there for a few days, and he didn't touch them. So I said, well, you need to fill this out, right? You need to fill this out. Do you know the nigga got a red ink pen and scribbled all on it, wrote all nasty on it, just crazy. You just crazy. That's when I said, okay, you're gonna have to leave here. Because I tried to help him, and the reason why I know y'all say, well, why would you help him? The reason why I tried to help him because I got a good heart, and this was somebody that had helped put me in this house, right? So I felt obligated again to make sure he got somewhere because he had lost his place, being irresponsible, right? So I was trying to help him instead of just cold putting him out, right? Because I just thought that was gonna be wrong of me to do that. Even though he had did all the shit to me, I just thought it was gonna be wrong. But he blatantly disrespected me. He scribbled on it with red ink. Made it look sloppy, right? I can tell y'all the story's gonna be in the book. I'm telling you because I have to sit down and think about it. But it's stories, and when I think about it, it's like, why did you stay so long, right? And I was kind of a little bit ashamed to tell the story, right? Because nobody knew what I was going through in there, right? Nobody knew. And I was kind of ashamed of telling the story, for how it was going to make me look. But shit, I got to tell the story, and I might as well get paid off my pain, right? But it needs to be told, though. Narcissism people need to understand what that is. Women need to understand what that is, right? Because that gaslighting, the fact that they have no empathy and then they gaslight you, those 2 traits right there can make you crazy, right? Those 2 traits right there can make you crazy. And you steady trying to be better. If I only did this. I'm telling you, I turned into a real white woman housewife. If I only do this, he gonna act right. If I only do this, it'll be better. Because I was living not in the reality, I was living in the what if. I was living in a fantasy world. I'm a Pisces. That's what we do. So in me, he had the perfect victim. I just wasn't as weak as he would have liked me to be. I wasn't weak at all. But he had the perfect victim as far as my childhood trauma, single parent, struggling. Um, he had the perfect victim. You know what I'm saying? He had the perfect victim. And I didn't, I wasn't really active outside anymore because when I went outside, I went to get some money. I wasn't, wasn't at the club, wasn't at the bar because I didn't drink. When I met him, I just stopped drinking, smoking cigarettes, all that stuff. So in my mind, this is a new chapter in life, and he didn't either. That's how I met him at a sober event, right? So I'm thinking he a good guy and changed his life around. So it was a lot of factors that played into how I got with him and why I stayed with him. It was a lot of factors that went into that. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't drink, he didn't do drugs, he didn't smoke. He smoked cigarettes, but he didn't do any of the things that I wasn't doing. For being a good person, his karma's coming. And it has, Sneak. It has. I'm just not gonna tell y'all. It's gonna blow your mind. Right? It's gonna blow your mind, It's gonna blow your mind. But I saw it. I'm telling you, I learned from him. I learned that you ain't got to do nothing to nobody. Just let God handle it. I always heard them be like, shit, God ain't, let me whoop their ass, I'm on some get back, right? You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. All you got to do is sit back and let God be God. That's it, right? That's it. Because like I told you what he looked like. And this was a well-dressed individual who had very nice clothes, shoes, hats, coats, all the things, right? I remember right after that, I seen him shit. He looked like he had crawled up out of a garbage can. I don't know what was going on with him. My sister got one of those dudes she was dating during the pandemic. He moved into shelter in place with someone to get rid of dude. She literally got him into his own apartment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you find out who they are. And I was trying to be nice because he had been so good to me and my son, my kids, my grandson, because my grandson would stay there off and on too, right? Um, you know, I'm just gonna be cool with you like that on that and get you somewhere to get you because by this time I realized he was a dummy, even though he was a narcissist, he was dumb, right? He could portray smart real good. He could pretend intelligence real good, right? So this time I realized he a dummy as really in the big scheme of things. So I'm like, I'm gonna help this nigga get him a place, right? That's the least I could do for him because he got me in one. I'm in a house that he helped me build. You see what I'm saying? So like, okay, do this. Good Christian girl. This what you gonna do, right? That nigga was playing me for a joke. I was like, okay, you got to go. She was trying to be nice too. I get it now. The family had no understanding. Yeah, you don't. You don't. People don't. That's why I didn't tell anybody. People don't. Because I remember my sister vividly. I would do stuff to him and tell her. She was like, oh no, don't do him like that. Don't you call him brother-in-law? Don't do brother-in-law like that. I'm like, girl, fuck him. Because she didn't understand. Because what she saw was the good he had did. She didn't know the internal hell that I was in. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know once she did find out, I was still trying to help him. You know what I'm saying? Now, she never said don't help him, but I know she probably was thinking like, fuck him. Why, because, that's my sister. I'm sure she was like, fuck that nigga, man. Why you helping him? But I did. I did. And besides that, you know, I had found out at this point, in case y'all forgot, that he had been involved with my cousin. Let's not forget that part. Did you share your childhood woes with him when you... I'm pretty sure, maybe not when I first met him, but I'm pretty sure at some point, yeah. Because there was a time in there during that relationship where I stopped speaking to my mother and he had no understanding of that. So I had to explain, the reasons for that and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, um, you know, I probably did at first. Maybe I did. I don't know. But I know it was at some point I did. You know what I'm saying? At some point I did. But he didn't react to that. He didn't react to that. You know what I'm saying? There was no reaction to that. I remember thinking he didn't react to that. Um, and I had told him and gave him the explanation of what had been done to me and why I wasn't speaking to my mother at this time. And it was like blank. So anytime I needed some comfort, I never got it. Not from him. And I didn't tell anybody outside. I didn't tell my girlfriends. what I was going through as it pertains to my mother and them situations. I didn't talk to that. I didn't talk about that to anyone. Y'all is the first motherfuckers I talked to about that, and especially on an open like this, right? So I never had nobody to give me a hug and be like, oh, it's gonna be all right, it's okay, I love you. I didn't get that. No, no, he did not. Just a little bit tidbit, but not really. Just a tidbit or two, but not really. Mm-mm. He shared more of his young adulthood than his childhood. Childhood, he did not share. Um, no, he did not share that. So it's like the gaslighting is what makes you crazy, because you go somebody who just giving you everything and you misinterpreting it for love or like, because they're giving you the world, they're giving you everything, they're taking you everywhere, they're doing this, they're doing that. Then it goes into the mental anguish of it all, with the gaslighting, the lying, the ignoring you, the not giving you praise, all of that shit. It turns into that, and that's where it stays. That's where it stays. That's where it stays. And that's a horrible, horrible phase. That's why you see on the list now. I didn't know that, but I can see it on the list. It says anxiety, depression, even suicide, self-hurting, like shit. Because I used to tell them all the time, a weaker woman, you'd have her. I just wasn't her. I endured some trauma that I didn't even know I was in. Right? Was he abused, abandoned? I think he was belittled as a youngin', and I think that he was the middle of 12 kids. Or he was 10 or 12 or 11. He was the middle of them, right? So middle child is always ignored, right? And I believe that had a lot to do with it. That had a lot to do with it, and I think he was belittled too, because he always wanted to be with the cool kids. As we got grown, he always wanted to be with the cool peoples, right? But anyway, y'all, I got to go, so I go to work. Thanks for joining Jackie with a Q. Tonight at 8 o'clock, we celebrating the 7,000 and the first day of my birthday month. Yeah, they do. Queen said abuse people will abuse people. Yeah. Abuse begets abuse. Unless you get help and be conscious of it and aware of it. Y'all cash at me because I need it. Cash at me twos and fews because I need it to get to work. I love y'all. And see you tonight. Thanks, nephew. See y'all tonight at 8 o'clock.